Imagine for a second that you're holding this little burgundy-colored book.
Yeah, just a small passport book,
Right. It's got the word Útlevél stamped right on the front in this gold lettering.
which is Hungarian for passport.
Exactly. And it feels like a standard passport in your hands, but what you're actually holding is pretty much a golden ticket.
Absolutely. It's a total game changer.
Because it's a document that instantly grants you the right to live, to work, study, basically move freely anywhere within the European Union.
Anywhere.
So, today's mission for this deep dive is to unpack the actual realistic path to securing that exact document, a Hungarian passport.
And we're basing this on some really incredible source material today.
Yeah, we are looking through this huge stack of sources. It's a collection of service compendiums, process guides, course outlines, and they were all developed by Professor Huba.
Right. He's a native Hungarian specialist and the founder of the Hungarian Citizenship Center.
And his materials lay out exactly how descendants are reclaiming their European roots right now.
And I think it's important to state our goal right up front. Our goal today isn't just to talk about, the abstract legal theory of European citizenship.
Nobody wants a dry legal lecture.
Exactly. We are going to provide a highly encouraging yet incredibly practical roadmap for you. We want to break down exactly what it takes to navigate this naturalization process successfully.
Because the pathway is very real, but so are the pitfalls.
Yeah, relying on unrealistic promises or just starting without understanding the true requirements, it costs people so much time and money.
So we are going to extract the blueprint for doing this the right way. We're treating these process guides as raw data to show you what actually works in the real world.
So let's just get right into it.
Yeah, let's start with the why. If you're listening to this, you probably already know the basic perks of an EU passport.
Right. We don't need to spend 20 minutes talking about how great it is to skip the customs line on a European vacation.
Or the fact that it gives you visa-free access to over 170 countries.
Though that is a massive perk.
It's a huge perk. And you likely already know that it allows you to work anywhere from Paris to Prague without needing a visa sponsor.
Or the massive educational discounts it opens up for your kids across Europe.
But the real hook here, the thing that makes the Hungarian pathway specifically unique, is the lineage rule.
Yeah, that is the core of this entire opportunity. Because most European countries, they have a really strict cutoff.
Right, like maybe your parents or grandparents.
Exactly. They might let you claim citizenship if your parent was born there, or maybe a grandparent, but then the door just slams shut.
But the Hungarian law is incredibly generous by comparison.
It really is. There is no limit on the number of generations you can go back.
That part is just wild to me. The documents explicitly state that children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and even great-great-grandchildren are potentially eligible.
It's infinite lineage.
You could have an ancestor who immigrated to North America a whole century ago, and that lineage still legally connects you to this right today.
It's almost like a dormant superpower just sitting right there in your family tree.
It really is.
And we need to inject a serious reality check right here.
Yeah, let's talk about the reality.
This is exactly where people start making very expensive mistakes. Just having the lineage or having a documented tie, it does not mean automatic citizenship.
It's not just a rubber stamp.
No, it just means you get to stand at the starting line.
Yeah.
Every single case has to be analyzed individually.
And the materials stress that too many applicants fail because they rely on generic advice.
Right, they go on internet forums and think they have it all figured out.
Or they start the process without a proper prior assessment of their specific eligibility.
Which is dangerous because there are other pathways too, beyond just the generational lineage.
Yeah, the sources mention specific naturalization cases. Like, for instance, if you were married to a Hungarian citizen.
Right, you might qualify after 10 years of marriage if you don't have children.
Or after just 5 years if you do have kids together.
But whether it's by marriage or by bloodline, you still have to prove it.
And that brings us to the first major hurdle, the paper trail.
Oh yeah, the document collection phase. This is where the rubber really meets the road.
You have to prove the lineage, which means tracking down civil documents.
Birth certificates, marriage certificates, divorce decrees, death certificates.
And going back generations.
Right. And it's not just about finding them in some dusty archive. You are submitting these to the Hungarian authorities.
Which means they have to meet very specific, rigid standards.
Incredibly rigid.
Okay, so let's walk through a hypothetical here. Say I spend months digging through archives.
Okay.
I finally find my great-grandfather's birth certificate from 1910. I get it translated to Hungarian by some standard online service.
Right.
I put it in an envelope. I mail it in. Am I done? Is my passport in the mail?
I really wish it were that easy for you, but no.
No.
That dusty certificate, even if it's perfectly translated by a standard service, it often gets flat out rejected.
Wow.
The
Even with a
employer.
perfect translation.
Yeah. Yes. And the reason comes down to understanding the internal administrative processes of Hungary.
Okay, the internal mechanics.
Exactly. If a document doesn't fit their exact formatting, or if it's missing a specific type of apostille.
Or the translation doesn't use the precise legal terminology.
Exactly. If it doesn't use the specific legal terminology recognized by the Hungarian state, it gets kicked back. This is exactly why Professor Huba personally translates the necessary civil documents for his applicants. It completely avoids the delays, the rework, and the outright refusals that happen when you don't understand the bureaucratic machinery from the inside.
That insider knowledge makes total sense. It's the difference between knowing how to drive a car and knowing how to build the engine.
Exactly.
But, okay, let's say you get all your paperwork perfectly formatted. You've proven your lineage.
Yeah.
Then you hit the absolute biggest wall in this entire process. You have to pass an official consular interview, and you have to do it in Hungarian.
And that right there is the gauntlet. That is where the vast majority of unprepared applications just fall apart.
The sources make it clear that underestimating this language requirement is the most common pitfall.
It leads straight to application refusal.
Which is terrifying, honestly. Hungarian is notoriously complex.
It is not an easy language.
It's not an Indo-European language. You can't just guess words because they sound like Spanish or French.
No, it has completely different roots. Finno-Ugric roots.
I mean, I struggle just to order a coffee confidently when I'm on vacation. The idea of sitting in a consulate under pressure, answering legal and personal questions about my immigration status in a complex language.
It's a massive bridge to cross. But let's break down why it's a bridge and what the consular officers are actually looking for.
Okay, let's do that.
Because they aren't expecting you to write poetry. The authorities require what the process guides call a functional intermediate command of the language.
But what does functional actually mean in a high-stakes interview? Because my first instinct would be to write out a script about my great-grandfather.
Right.
Memorize every single syllable and just recite it like I'm reading a textbook.
And that is the exact trap. Rote memorization fails almost every single time.
Really?
Yes. A consular officer conducts these interviews every day. They can spot a memorized script in about 5 seconds flat.
So they see right through it.
Completely. Imagine you recite a flawless paragraph about your family tree, but then the officer casually asks you, how was the weather on your drive to the consulate today?
And if you freeze up,
If you freeze up, the interview is effectively over.
because it exposes that you don't actually understand the language, you just memorized a song.
Exactly that. They are looking for spontaneous comprehension.
You must be able to understand the questions being asked organically.
Respond clearly and maintain consistency in those responses throughout the entire interview.
It's not about passing a multiple-choice grammar test.
No, it's about demonstrating that you are ready to be a functional citizen of that country. They want a future neighbor, not a textbook.
Which brings us to the methodology that actually solves this problem.
Yes, the solution.
Because if you're going to cross that bridge, you need a guide who understands both the language and the psychology of the interview.
And this is where the source material from Professor Huba becomes really illuminating.
We are looking at the course outlines from the Hungarian Citizenship Center, which he founded.
He's a native Hungarian from Budapest.
Right. But it's his decade of exclusive, full-time experience with these specific naturalization processes that provides the real blueprint here.
The combination of his background is what makes this methodology work. I mean, it's one thing to be a native speaker who can teach conversational Hungarian, but combining native proficiency with international consular experience means the preparation is strategic.
It's basically reverse engineered from the final interview.
Exactly. And the data completely backs this up. The files we are reviewing aren't just theoretical course syllabuses.
They document a verified track record.
He has successfully guided over 100 applicants.
Specifically, the internal records we have cite applicants number 106 and 107 hitting approval.
And these aren't just people living on the Austrian border taking weekend trips to Budapest.
No, these success stories span the globe. He's guided people from the United States, Canada, Australia,
Brazil, Ireland, the United Arab Emirates.
and even expats already living in Hungary.
Just consider why that global footprint is so significant for a moment.
It means the methodology is adaptable.
Right. Preparing an English speaker in Canada for an interview requires a totally different pedagogical approach than preparing a Portuguese speaker in Brazil.
And different consulates around the world have their own slight operational quirks, too.
Exactly. So successfully navigating over 100 cases across multiple continents, it demonstrates a highly robust, stress-tested system.
So let's look at how this system actually takes someone from zero Hungarian to passing that functional threshold.
The sources outline a deeply comprehensive, highly personalized support system.
It starts with the language solution.
Mhm.
We're talking about 60-minute one-on-one live lessons via Google Meet.
It's not just a pre-recorded generic language course where you watch a video and are left to figure it out entirely alone,
You are face-to-face reacting in real time.
which builds that spontaneous reaction muscle you absolutely need for the interview.
But the live interaction is only part of the equation, right?
Yeah, what I find analytically fascinating is the supplementary technology he uses.
The app.
Yes, the course outlines mention a dedicated app provided to students featuring 1,300 essential words recorded by the professor himself.
Why 1,300? That feels like a very specific number. Why not 5,000 words?
Because it is the exact tipping point for functional fluency.
Okay.
In applied linguistics, a core vocabulary of around 1,000 to 1,500 highly targeted words gives you the ability to comprehend and navigate the vast majority of everyday situations.
So by focusing intensely on those 1,300 words,
And hearing the correct native pronunciation constantly on your phone.
you aren't wasting cognitive energy on obscure vocabulary you'll never actually use.
Exactly. You are building a rock-solid foundation of functional, high-frequency language.
That makes total sense. It's all about efficiency. And the learning doesn't stop when you close the app.
No, the methodology includes daily exclusive educational stories and weekly emails to keep the momentum going.
It forces you to engage with the language every single day, even if it's just for a few minutes.
Because consistency is what actually rewires the brain.
Right.
But there's another layer here that is arguably even more important than the vocabulary.
The cultural integration.
Yes. Professor Huba has created a dedicated podcast specifically for his students.
It focuses on Hungarian culture, the responsibilities of citizenship, and just the general knowledge that every citizen should possess. I really love that approach. Why does that cultural immersion matter so much for a legal process, though?
Because language without cultural context is just hollow.
It's just words.
Exactly. When that applicant sits down for their consular interview, they're not just being tested on grammar, they're being evaluated on their genuine integration.
So if you understand the culture, the history, and the mindset of a Hungarian citizen, your entire demeanor changes.
You speak with more confidence. You understand the nuances of the questions.
This strategy ensures the preparation is genuine.
So the consular officer recognizes you as one of their own rather than just a foreigner trying to secure a travel document.
It totally shifts the dynamic from an interrogation to an actual conversation.
It really does.
But we have to talk about timelines, because this level of preparation is a serious commitment.
It is not an overnight thing.
And the sources break this down clearly. And it's honestly a breath of fresh air, because there are no false promises here.
If you commit to one class a week, plus your homework, the data shows you are looking at a 2 to 3 year process to reach that functional intermediate level.
And if you have more time and can commit to 2 classes a week plus homework, that timeline shrinks down to a 1 to 2 year process.
Setting realistic expectations like this is a hallmark of a truly responsible approach.
It actively steers applicants away from the generic predatory promises.
Right, the fast results or guaranteed approvals within months that you see plastered all over the internet.
Because it takes real time to rewire your brain to learn an agglutinative language like Hungarian.
And it takes time to meticulously organize an international legal application.
A 1 to 3 year horizon is the honest reality of this journey.
And the support system covers you for that entire timeline. It's truly an end-to-end service.
Once you hit that linguistic threshold, the final polish begins,
The sources detail how the support continues with CV preparation.
which needs to be in Hungarian and formatted correctly.
Right. And then there are the mock interview simulations.
The mock interviews are so critical.
He essentially puts you through a high-stakes practice run of the gauntlet.
So by the time you sit in the actual consulate, you already know what the pressure feels like.
You've answered the tough questions. You've navigated the spontaneous conversational pivots.
And my absolute favorite detail from the process guide is that the support doesn't just abruptly end when you walk out of the interview.
No, it doesn't.
He helps maintain the candidate's language knowledge in those critical months after the application is submitted.
Right up until the official citizenship oath is taken.
You don't just pass the test and let the language atrophy.
You are supported until you are standing there taking the oath with the passport in your hand.
It's a comprehensive architecture for success. It mitigates the risk at every single failure point.
The eligibility assessment, the bureaucratic formatting.
The functional language acquisition, and the psychological pressure of the interview itself.
So what does this all mean for you?
Yeah, if you have been listening to this and thinking about your own family tree,
Maybe your grandfather was Hungarian or, you have documented ties to the country.
we strongly encourage you to look into this. Securing an EU passport for yourself and unlocking that geographic and economic freedom for your descendants.
It's a life-changing asset.
And importantly, if you're going to pursue this, you now know the blueprint.
Avoiding the common mistakes like underestimating the language or starting without a realistic assessment is what dictates success.
Absolutely. If you want to evaluate your own eligibility using this verified methodology, your most responsible first step is to visit the official website.
At professorhuba.com.
You can begin a direct eligibility assessment there, usually via WhatsApp, to get clear guidance without the unrealistic promises.
Additionally, you can explore the hub of this entire methodology at HungarianCitizenshipCenter.com.
Which offers the specialized online language courses and professional guidance we've been breaking down today.
You can also see his daily educational content and connect with him on social media by looking up his official presence on Facebook and Instagram.
It's an incredible resource for anyone serious about this path.
We've covered a lot of ground today.
We really have. We've analyzed the tangible perks of the passport, the incredibly generous, infinite lineage pathways,
The strict hurdles of the Hungarian government.
and the proven multi-year support system required to pass the consular gauntlet.
But as we wrap up our analysis of these sources, there is a deeper layer to all of this.
There always is. We spend so much time talking about the logistics, it's easy to forget the human element.
Exactly. I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder on your own.
Okay.
We've talked extensively about the incredible legal, economic, and mobility benefits of holding that Burgundy passport.
But beyond all of those practical perks, think about the psychological transformation.
How does the multi-year process of meticulously reclaiming a lost ancestral language permanently rewire your sense of personal identity?
Wow.
When you finally take that oath in the language of your ancestors, you aren't just acquiring a travel document
You are fundamentally altering your connection to your family's past.
and bringing a piece of your heritage back to life. That is the true value of the journey.